It's 8 o'clock, and we're live. It's 8 o'clock on Tuesday, the 1st of July, 2025. How we doing out there, guys? Let me kick down this volume. I'm watching Fail on me. But like you do. There you go. Now I can watch but listen to you. How's everybody doing out there tonight? It's 8 o'clock at night. I'm in Boston, the Boston area. It's storming outside. There's lightning and thunder. It's pouring rain, which is good because it's been about almost 100 degrees for 4 or 5 days. So hopefully the rain will break the heat. Because if you're not inside with the air conditioning, you're outside sweltering. There's an old term for you, sweltering. I've been good. Work's going okay. Actually, I made a fairly sizable mistake a couple of days ago that came to fruition this afternoon, but we survived the ordeal, like you do. Mistakes happen. It wasn't that costly. It was more of a time thing than anything. So, for those of you who were here last night, I have to apologize. I was so exhausted from my weekend that at about 2.5 hours in, 2:45 of the stream, I started falling asleep. I literally was talking and then I nodded out and came back and realized that I had nodded out for a second. But there was a couple of key people on the stream that I had been talking to for almost 2 hours. So I just kept going like I am right now. So that's an apology for falling asleep on my stream. I think that's a riot, but also know this: I don't take any drugs anymore. It's been years. So you see me nodding off, it's just because I work too much and I don't get to sleep when I should. That's about it for me these days. Most I do is smoke cigarettes. Yay! And we've got to quit that. Secondly, I'm gonna steer away from monologuing, like I'm kind of doing right now. But I only see one person. We just started up. It's 8 o'clock. So I invite you to start whatever conversation you want in the chat. I can jump in with my opinions. I could just listen. I could look stuff up because I'm at my computer in my workspace. That's what I was doing for a couple of people last night. One girl had an actress and a voiceover actress that she was very interested in, and she wanted me to look her up, so I did. Found out a little bit about her, and I forget what the other things were, but I was doing a little research for people last night, which is fine by me. I'm sitting here with my laptop and a full-size monitor, so I can easily Google whatever you'd like and report back to you. Like I said, it's kind of a stormy night out. It's a good night to be in. I'm loving the streaming stuff. It's starting out slow, but of course it is. I didn't promote myself at all. There's no marketing going on. It's just me at the moment. Jeremiah Lee. But as I said, there were a couple of repeat subscribers that came by. That was really cool. I have one girl, Jeanette Crawford. She's from Dublin, Ireland. She came back to say hello. I've got a gentleman named Jay who came to visit me a second time last night, just before he ate his tuna casserole, I think he was putting together. He had tuna helper, so I don't know what he was doing with it, but I'm going to assume there's a casserole dish involved somewhere. And there was a third person You know, I write some stuff down. Maybe I wrote it down. That was very talkative. That was great. Oh, you know who we had? What was his name? Charlotte was from Connecticut. Chuckaroo. Chuckaroo and I spoke for about 3 hours last night, straight through. While other people were having conversations, and they were having conversations with us. But Chuckaroo, if you come back, man, I'd love to see you again. Those were some good ideas you had, and I hope your family's doing well today. That's what we were talking about. He's got a tough situation with 3 kids and a wife, and he's got his hands full. Put it that way. So Chuckaroo, this goes out to you. Maybe tonight's streaming is in your name for you. So maybe we'll talk about family stuff tonight, shall we? I have recently learned how devious and, quite frankly, evil family members can be to one another, especially when it comes to the parents getting older. I mean, not just retirement. I mean, when it's talking about wills, talking about trusts, talking about all of that financial planning that should happen when you're probably, by the time you're 60, even starting at 55, I think. It's my opinion. But don't wait until you're 90 years old to put together a will. There are a few reasons for that. And like I said, I have heard from many a person now. So it's obvious, or maybe it's not obvious. I had some small family issues recently over the past 3 years that jammed me up personally. We got through them. You're always going to get through the stuff. It's only when you're there that it feels like you're not going to ever get through it. But if you think about things, what's the saying? This too shall pass. You'll get through it. Whatever it is. The worst of the worst. At some point, you're going to be further down in your life and you're going to be able to look back on it and say, wow, I'm glad that's over. Let's never do that again. But I'm so grateful that I'm here right now and free. So I had my family issues and I started talking with friends and neighbors. And they started telling me horror stories about their family, their extended family, taking the inheritance money, not divvying it up amongst the siblings, aunts ripping off their nieces and nephews, all kinds of stuff. I don't know if you've got any stories about that kind of stuff out there, but interesting is the least I could say about these stories. Interesting they are. And it really goes to show when it comes to money, people turn into devils. I'm not really a religious person, so don't think that I'm, saying devils in that way. I mean, just they do things that you wouldn't expect them to usually do to people that they're supposed to love unconditionally because they're family. That extends to I extend my extended family to my neighbors. Let me know if you think that way as well. I mean, your neighbors are the ones that are always around. Your neighbors are going to be able to watch your house when you're away, even if you're just at work. Make sure no one's doing anything stupid around your house. breaking stuff or breaking in or any of that kind of stuff, making sure that your family, if they're stay-at-home family members, are safe. So your neighbors are, in my mind, I would treat them just as I would treat an aunt or an uncle, a family member. And I'm great friends with, dare I say, great friends with every neighbor that abuts my house, except for the one directly to my left. With them, I've had a feud over a strip of grass that is mine, that is my property, that they feel they can use anytime they want to for whatever reason they're making up in their own mind. I have asked them politely not to trespass on my property. I have made it very clear that I don't find them to be special. I don't think they have any right. There's no easement between our yards. The deeds are cut and dry as to where our property line ends and their property line begins. Yet, for their ease of convenience, and that's all it is, convenience, I caught them mowing part of my yard on numerous occasions. Has that ever happened to any of you? Has your neighbor come over and mowed a little bit of your yard and trimmed it, like brought the weed whacker out and trimmed around the tree? I came out one day and the grandfather was just going at it with the weed eater, the trimmer. And I walked up behind him and I obviously caught him off guard because he jumped back. He's like, "Whoa!" And I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" Because we'd brought this up before. I'd brought it up before that I don't want them touching my property. It's my property. Why would you ever mow my property? I'm not going to come over and. It sounds stupid, but when you've told somebody directly not to do it and they're back at it, that's a pretty clear sign of they don't respect you at all. So I caught him off guard. He jumps back and he starts saying something stupid about, "Oh, well, you got to take care of the rootsy tootsies." He was trimming around exposed roots from a pine tree that's right on the property line. So I know what he was doing. He was being a busybody, is what he was doing. Rootsy tootsies. Yeah. Okay, pal. So then I politely requested that he never do that again. And he agreed. And the very next month, who came over and mowed like 6 feet into my yard. And he's the one that told me, this is embarrassing to say, but I actually have an electric lawnmower with a cord. So when I first moved in, I had introduced myself to them because, again, I like neighbors. The neighbors should know each other. And they seemed polite. They seemed nice. But a little while later, I moved in the spring. So a little while later in the spring or summer, he approached me a couple of times and he said something about extension cords and said, "Oh, if you don't have enough extension cord, you can borrow mine." Something like that. And I was clueless about what he was talking about. I just couldn't figure it out. I'm like, why does he want to lend me his extension cord? Why is he so amped about lending me something? And especially an extension cord. Then finally, I don't know if I found an actual plot map of the property itself, or if I think he actually told me. No, that's what it is. He told me because I called him out on it. I was like, "Dick," and his name was Dick. I said, "Dick, why do you keep asking me about extension cords?" And he pointed over to an area that's between our yards, but past the white picket fence that wraps around my yard to keep it private. There's a 2-foot strip that goes down probably 20 feet. And he says, that's yours. And I hadn't been mowing it. So that's why he's asking me, do I need more extension cord? I'm like, all right, now I finally get it. How about you would have said that in the beginning? And instead of doing this guesswork and oh man. So I started mowing that area. It's my property. I was speaking with the grandmother. This is a 3-generation house. Again, the house next to me. The grandparents, the parents, and the one son that I know of. I think that's it. And it's not that big of a house, so it's probably a little tight in there. It is what it is. But I talked to the grandmother a lot, and I thought we had built a pretty friendly rapport. I thought we were friendly neighbors. We knew her by first name basis, and we spoke probably once a week at least, rain or shine. She'd tell me about how she'd go on Sundays down to the local, one of our local restaurants. I'm in Marlboro, Mass. One of our local restaurants that she loves her. Oh, what did she drink? Might have been wine, I forget, but she tied one on Sundays, and she wanted to let me know about it. So I said, all right, that's great. You do what you got to do. It's so close. I don't think you're unsafe to yourself or anybody else. So do your thing and get home safe. So we were bonding. We talked about normal stuff a lot. And it was her husband who's over here mowing the side of my yard against my explicit direction not to. So a strange dichotomy there. I don't know if dichotomy is the right word. A strange relationship there. And it got worse. I'm not going to get into it. I'm monologuing right now because I've got nobody's watching me. But YouTube records these. So for future reference, I'm going to just ramble on. These people. And I'm in New England, so it snows. So let me back up. So like I said, there are 3 generations. And so there are at least 3 different cars. And they have a driveway that probably fits 3 cars. Yet, for their convenience, they made a bullshit parking space on the lawn on the opposite side of the house to where the real driveway is, which happens to be on my side. So, Grandma, the one I was just talking about, Babs, Barbara is her name, Babs, started parking her car there. She's got to drive up over the curb. Now they put down a little bark mulch and these stone mats so she could drive onto the lawn and wouldn't get muddy, wouldn't get rutted up or something like that. But they're parking on the lawn, and not to be that guy, but I got my real estate agent's license a couple of years back. And I know that they actually can't do that per deeds of who lives where, but I'm not going to get all into that because I'm not a real estate lawyer. But I will tell you that when winter comes, they have to plow out that bullshit driveway. And where do they push the snow? Right onto my property. Which, if they were friendly with me, like every other neighbor around me, I wouldn't care at all. Wouldn't think twice about it. It's just snow. It'll melt. But since I can't stand them, I loathe them. I don't want them pushing what could amount to a good couple of feet of snow onto my property. It's not even the side of the property that I use. It's the opposite side of my driveway, my main entrance, all of that stuff. But it's the principle now because they were rude as hell to me. Didn't didn't listen to my basic requests not to mow part of my lawn. I mean, talk to me. There's a couple of you out there. Wouldn't that would that bug you out if your neighbor came over and just kept mowing part of your yard? It sounds silly saying it now, and the answer you'll give is probably no. They're just doing work that I don't want to do. I get that. Totally get that. But they're so rude about it. They're so in my face, like we were here first. See, I moved here in 16. I think they've been here maybe since the grandparents got good jobs and could afford a house. That was probably, I don't know, 40s, the 50s, sometime way before 2016. So I'm the new kid on the block. And I'll tell you why I know that stuff. Because at one point the police were called. Yeah, yeah. On your pal Jerry here. For what? I never actually got an answer. But when the police officer showed up, the sergeant and his two other police officers who were posted up at the end of my driveway when he finally walked up to talk to me after talking to them for about 20 minutes. He explained to me how he actually had grown up on my street. You see, telling me that he has a previous relationship with these people without telling me outright that he has a previous relationship with these people. It's kind of a conflict of interest, but it's not. This isn't court. This isn't a judge knowing something about the evidence ahead of time. This is just a peace officer that happened to grow up in the city that I live in now, on the street that I live on. He went so far as to tell me, oh, I remember when this plot, meaning where my house is now, was just a hole in the ground, he said. I remember when this was just a big pit. That's what a pit. And I'm listening to him, and I'm contently listening to him and keeping my mouth shut because I don't need any trouble. They called the police on me, and now he's telling me that he knows them personally. So Uncle Jared knows how to keep his mouth shut at times like this. So I nodded and was polite. He must have talked at me for half an hour with his two bulldogs sitting at post up at each corner of my driveway, just to be a presence. That was strange, man. And again, never did I hear of a complaint against me. Why they had been called, and I know this is what happened, the snow thing, the snow removal thing. It's a big thing in New England. If you're from New England and you live anywhere where the houses are tightly packed together, snow removal and snow, I don't know what you want to call it, storage during the winter, the stuff you've shoveled and plowed, becomes an issue. Because you've got to park your car somewhere, you've got to be able to get into your house, the mailman has to be able to get to the mailbox, oil guy has to be able to get to the backyard. It's your responsibility to clear the snow. So they had a plow guy come and plow that fake driveway out and dump it into my yard. Well, I had been in touch with City Hall about this because they obviously weren't going to listen to me. And I've worked on enough shows and worked with enough local governments to know that when that happens, don't freak out. Don't go to the media immediately. Try City Hall or try the police station. But since that was already, well, let me back up. I'm getting ahead of myself. So I walked over and I started with my phone filming, videotaping that snow pile that they had pushed into my yard. And as I'm doing that, Junior comes out in a rage. I'm not going to name him, but I'd like to. And starts screaming at me. What are you filming? What's going on? Oh, I'm going to film you too. And brings his phone out, and all of a sudden we're battling each other, pointing the phones at each other, which is the stupidest thing in the world. Again, we're next door neighbors. The other neighbors probably saw this and were like, what is going on? Time to move, Carol. So that's why the police were called, because they freaked out because I was setting up to make a complaint against them. I was building evidence is what I was doing. And all of this sounds ridiculous. I know. It's ridiculous to me too. I don't want to deal with this. I want them to just screw off. Leave me alone. Don't touch my property again. And we'll be fine. I'll just enjoy a barbecue with my neighbor to the right, with her cousins and nephews and nieces and all of them that come over. That's fantastic. I will continue speaking at length with my Indian fellow right across the street from me. Super nice guy. He's got a wife and one son doing his thing. He's got an elderly mother too, so we kind of talk and bond over that situation because I'm kind of going through it right now with my elderly mother. You know, all that goes along with that. Some of you probably know. The Indian guy it's a side by side house. So next to him is Dave and his wife, their young baby, and the dog. And right across from me is Julia, who owns the house and rents out to somebody on the other side of her house, a new tenant who I don't know, but we wave all the time. So we're friendly. I speak to Julia at length about who knows what, politics, about her work, about her twisted family and my twisted family. So I've got friends all the way around, and the gentleman directly behind me is a super nice guy. Bremo is his name, and he's just a super nice guy. Always asks about my mother, very polite. He owns a big house, rents the top floor, to whom I don't actually know. I only know him. But that's it. That concludes the circle of people around me, and I'm friends with all of them because I've tried to be, and they've been nice enough to reciprocate. Now, why this one household to my left are choosing to be such jerks, I'm going to keep it kind of PG for right now. I don't know who's watching this. Such jerk bags are just beyond me. It's absolutely beyond me. It's a pissing contest, is what it is. And I'd love to be the better man and just go, yeah, you know what? I don't care. They can just use the fucking yard. It doesn't matter. But once they called the cops on me for no reason, I mean, there was no reason. I was just taping a snow pile that was on my property now. You know, they had pushed it over. So I'm filming my property. That's it. So what did you call for? A trespass? A harassment? What? None of this. None of the above. You called your friend at the police force. You know, I would do the same thing if it were the other way around. So I can't even knock them for that. If I knew I did know the cops back in the city I grew up in because I went to high school with all of them. I'm 51 now, so in my middle years, we knew half the force. Bunch of detectives, bunch of street cops. I grew up in Newton, Mass. Newton, Newton, Massachusetts. A very affluent city. Very big, so there was a very big police force. It was a super safe city, so the police were really just peace officers and kind of a presence, but there was no crime or very minimal crime. Anyway, I would have done the same thing. If the roles were reversed, I would have called the cop that I knew and said, come on down here and can you just feel this guy out and maybe put a little fear in him so he'll back off. But the thing is, I'm not the one that's being the aggressor this time. I know. I know on a lot of other occasions, I'm antagonistic. Yes, I am. I'll admit that. But not this one. I don't, this whole monologue that I'm talking about is being friends with your neighbors, not enemies. I don't want an enemy that lives next door to me. I want someone that's going to watch my back and I'll watch their back. You got my six, I'll get your six. That's how I live my life. So why would I screw it up with neighbors who are going to be there every day? I wouldn't. So that tells me that it's coming from them. I'm not even trying to play the blame game. If it were my fault, I'd take the hit right now and just admit to it. But it's absolutely ridiculous. Leaving for work, I drive by their house and I look down and I see that strip of lawn that they've cut just so when grandma gets out of her car, because when she steps out of her car, she has to step on my property. There's only that much room on that side of their house. And if she were to pull forward, she'd hit their 4-season porch or 3-season porch. So she has to step out on my property, but there's no easement there. She has no right to use my property for anything. So I drive by and I see that whoever they've hired to mow their lawn, they've told, oh, make a strip right there so Barbara can get out of her car and walk easily. Which, again, I sound like I'm being evil talking about not wanting to leave a strip for this elderly lady to walk on when she gets out of her car. But they were so ignorant to me, arrogant to me, that I almost hope she falls down. That's where I'm at. I am displeased with these people. And I think I've got a fair gripe. So I don't know where the hell that came from. I think I was just thinking about neighbors, but they're the ones that really get my ass. Calling the police on your neighbors is definitely one way to become estranged, to break any type of relationship that you may have had off. So, but I got the other ones, and they're all wonderful. So, you know, the ratios, the good is so much more than the bad. But the bad was pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Don't call the cops on me. I don't need to meet any more police in my life. I've met enough. We go way back, you know, from getting caught drinking in the woods in Newton, lying to the officer, telling him that I lived at a certain house that was my best friend's house, having my best friend's father come down at 3 a.m. to the doorbell, and then deny that I was his son. Yeah, I've met my fair share of police. I've had a couple of run-ins. And I grew up with police officers too. My best friend's uncle was a state trooper, and a few of my friends' parents, both mother and fathers, were on the police force. A lot of firefighters as well. But police were always around, so I respect police. I've got no problem with police. They've got a hard job to do and a lot of responsibility on their shoulders, so I respect them. But I don't need to meet any more police. No. Who's out there? I got one person. Where are you at right now tonight? I usually have about 20 at this time. I've been rambling for like half an hour now. Okay, there's a second person. Last night and the night before and the night before at this time, I had about 40 people. So it's a slow night right now. Welcome to my channel. I'm Jerry Mcgillicuddy. You're watching me. I'm coming to you from Marlborough, Massachusetts. I do this every night at 8 o'clock. I have a few repeat subscribers that come by, shoot the breeze, tell me how their day was. We talk about work, we talk about family stuff, and we talk about anything, anything, honestly. So all you have to do is bring up the subject. So I'm going to steer away from the neighbor conversation. Started out as a good thing. I was trying to say, you know what? I've got some good people around me, and I'm psyched to have them. And I'm grateful that they've got my phone number. So if anything stupid goes on around my house while I'm, say, at work or just out for the night or something, they're going to text me. They're going to text me and ask me, hey, are you, did you lose your keys and you have to break into the back of the house through the window? Something like that. And the answer is going to be no, that's not me. Then you call the police. Then you call them up and have them come clear the place so I can come home to a safe environment. How's work for everybody out there? Work go well today? I had an okay day. Wasn't bad. I'm a machinist. I work with lathes all day, heavy equipment. It's a loud shop. So when I get home, I'm glad to have my serenity. I sit in my office and I stream. And as you probably already guessed, I love talking. I don't even mind talking to myself to a camera. I know this is being recorded and it will go up on YouTube, so that's why I'm rambling. But feel free to jump in. There's a couple of you out there. Tell me where you're at. Where you coming in from? Are you on the East Coast? Are you hearing this rainstorm outside? Because I can hear the rumbling of thunder still, and I'm in the basement, and it's a pretty tight house. It's a pretty quiet house. So the storm is still kicking out there. I went outside about an hour ago. The rain was pouring down. The sky was gray green. It was a very strange color going on, and thunder and lightning and everything frightening. We needed it though. It's been 90 degrees for about 5 days straight, and there's been no rain to clean it out. So this is a blessing. We'll take it. Hopefully it cools it off for tomorrow because your good pal Uncle Jared doesn't really like the super hot weather anymore. I lived in Los Angeles for 8 years. That's hot. That's a desert. People scramble for shade anywhere they can in Los Angeles. You see people waiting for the bus, they're hiding behind the pole, which is like 4 inches long or wide of shade. Any shade is good shade because the sun is pounding on you out there. It's felt like that the last 4 days here in Boston. It's been like LA hot. I get in my car and the thermometer says 105 degrees. It's because the car's been sitting in the sun for a while, but that's hot. That's Arizona hot. So the weather, we did family. I've touched on work. I wrote some notes. This is only my fourth stream, and I'm learning as I go. One of my big things tonight was I was not going to, as they keep saying, monologue, talk about my stuff ad nauseum. But no one's commenting yet, or no one's chatting yet, so I kind of have to talk to myself. But I promise you, if you're watching this for the first 3 days, we had, not a lot of people because it's just me and I didn't promote myself at all, but I had about 40 or 50 people, I think, 40 or say 30 at least. And people were chiming in all over the place, and we had trolls dumping stupid comments that we were ignoring, and it was fun. I went for 2.5 hours the first 2 nights, and then last night it got stretched out to 3 hours. That's a bit too long. I think we're going to keep it to 2 hours because your good pal Uncle Jer started nodding off while I was talking to people last night at around hour 3. I was just answering a question or talking about a subject, and then I'd snap out of it. Nobody commented on it. Nobody called me out on it, but I was aware of it. I just couldn't. I couldn't get offline. I wanted to keep talking with these people. We were having some good conversations. This one gentleman has some issues with his kids, and I felt like he really wanted to talk about it, so I was all ears. And I spoke my mind and my opinion about what might help him out. And of course, I'm not clinically trained in any medical areas, so we all know that. It's just whatever my opinion is my opinion. But I think he felt better after shooting the shit for a while with another dude that he doesn't know. Like, I'm not gonna pop into his life anytime soon and embarrass him in front of his wife and say, "Hey, that was a great conversation about how your wife made you look like a fool last week at such as." That's not going to happen because he is in another state. Number one, and number two, our paths just aren't going to cross. I don't think. That would actually be cool, meeting some people that come back. There's a woman named Charlotte. She's down in Connecticut. Now, in Connecticut are the casinos that us Boston people go to. One's called Mohegan Sun, the other's called Foxwoods. And my friend, a good friend of mine from up here that I've known since I was like 12, is a gambler by trade. So he's down in the casinos all the time. So I was talking to her about that. I asked her if she goes to the casinos at all. She says, "Yes, I do." And I said, "Well, maybe I'll bump into you sometime down there. Maybe we can meet up." And I forget what she said. I think something like, "Yeah, maybe we'll grab a coffee or something." She's probably, I mean, I don't know what she is. I'm certainly not talking about, a date or anything, a rendezvous. Just a random acquaintance that I met on my streaming on my channel, and maybe we're friendly in person too. So, and then there was a guy named Jay. He was out in Wisconsin. He checked back in last night, just before he had his dinner. He didn't stay too long, but it was great that he checked back in. That was cool as hell. Because he subscribed. There's a few people that told me just outright, "Hey, I just subbed." That makes anybody like myself feel great. Okay, so if one person subscribes in this 2 hour window, that's great. That's great. I I sincerely appreciate that. We'll build on it. I've been doing shorts, um, cutting from people's videos, making my own little videos. I've been making shorts for probably a year now, maybe a little bit more. And I have 7,000 plus subscribers, which is neither here nor there. It's not a million, but it's not two. So, pretty happy with that. But anybody else that wants to sign up and hear a random guy talk about random stuff and get into it with us, if there's a few more people here, I would love the subscribers. I would love to be the guy that entertains you, takes your mind off of work or your stress, whatever it is, for just a little while. All right. I'm not that bearded guy with the hat. That's all I am. I'm an avatar. I am real though. I'm not AI. Somebody asked me last night if I was AI. Nope. I'm as real can be. And then there was, oh, I already brought her up, but she was the first night. She was a laugh riot. Jeanette Crawford. She was coming to us from Dublin, Ireland. My last name is Mcgillicuddy, so she was investigating where I may be from. I told her I was going to look it up because I thought I had this kind of genealogy packet in the house somewhere that somebody put together at some point. And I still think I have that. But where I thought I had that was another book about the McGillicuddys, but that was more of almost a contact book, like a phone book, for all of the McGillicuddys in America, or as many as they could compile. I mean, the notebook is only about an inch thick, but it's page after page of Billy Mcgillicuddy, who lives in Needham, Massachusetts, and this is his phone number. And he lived whenever, or he died whenever. And this is Mary, and this is another Jeremiah, and this is, I don't know who compiled this and who did the research. Good for them, but nothing in there told me where my family originated from in the old country. And as Jeanette says, there's a McGillicuddy in every town in Ireland. So I could be from, nothing, or I could be from the lineage of kings. I don't know. I'm American now. That's what I am. I've always thought about getting dual citizenship, though. Since my grandparents were originally from Ireland, I'm second generation. My father was the first one born here. My grandparents came over sometime around the turn of the 20th century. So late 1800s, early 1900s. Because my father was born in 1913 here in America, in Brighton, Mass. So they were here when they had him. But they also had another son and three daughters, as the Irish do. They procreated. They all did well for themselves. Very smart bunch. 1913. You heard me right. My father was born before electricity really took off, which I believe was somewhere around 1917. I think the World's Fair was around then, and I could be screwing up my dates, but somewhere back then, somewhere where horse and buggies were still the main type of transportation, cars were not quite there yet. So the McGillicuddy clan. There's a there's a mountain range in Ireland actually named after the McGillicuddys. It's oh my goodness, the McGillicuddy Reeks. I think it's Weeks, Reeks, or mountains. The McGillicuddy Reeks. I'd like to think that that's where our family's from. I've done a little research on that. It doesn't have. We're not. Scratch that. The McGillicuddys that are from there are not the highest of stature, but they're not servants either. Because you got to think back in the day, you were what you did for the entirety of your life. That was it. So whatever you chose to do, that was it, and everyone knew you as that. My father, not me, I'm just giving my father credit for this, became a surgeon. So he did very well for himself, and a lot of schooling, a lot of schooling. But he was the orthopedic surgeon for Boston College. If anybody is an East Coast person, BC, we probably all heard of it, but it's in Newton. And then he was the orthopedic surgeon for a little team called the Boston Red Sox back in the late 60s, early 70s. He's the one that actually fixed Carl Yastrzemski's knee, Carl Sr. Um, I'm so terrible. Is his son's name Carl Jr.? Check me on that one. I don't know anything about sports. I played sports. I played everything. I played soccer. I played hockey. I played lacrosse. I played football. The only thing I really play is basketball. There's just too much running back and forth. I know it's hitting now and it's like the main sport, but it's just not for me. But my father was way into sports, but that was his industry. Like he had to be, he went to every football game. He went to every practice, every probably tryout, whatever they do. And he was very well known and very well respected. And that was pretty cool growing up with dad, being that guy. Blah blah blah. Then there was a divorce, then certain things happened and we went separate ways. But his mother, talk about old. His mother lived till she was 104 years old. It was Johanna McGillicuddy. Johanna, he always corrected because her name is Johanna, but they used the Y because she was actually Norwegian from the days when the Vikings stormed the UK and Europe and all of that, and kind of took over some clans and took over some areas. So she was a remnant of that. So her name was Johanna Mcgillicuddy, and her husband was, who I'm named after, Jeremiah Pop Mcgillicuddy, who owned Pop's Pub in Brighton, Mass, which is very stereotypical, but great for him. I think he may have actually had it open during Prohibition, too. I don't have my math quite right because we don't have a lot of records from back then, but if my father was born in 1917, 13, and there were siblings everywhere, Pop Mcgillicuddy had to earn some good money and quick, and those would have been the Prohibition years. But I know he owned a pub, so it's like, well, how was it, a speakeasy, or is that part of my history? That'd be pretty cool. I don't think it's hurting anybody unless it hurts somebody. I don't know. Family is a very interesting thing. You see, I'm talking about it now in a very positive light, but as of late, I have found out that sometimes family members are the last people you should trust. I hate saying that. It pains me to say that. But with all of the conversations that I've had over the past 2.5, 3 years with a lot of individuals, it turns out, at least within the circles that I've been speaking to, that family members will throw you under the bus in the eyes of the court before a complete and utter stranger would. And family members will cut you out of any inheritance or will that you're named in if there's any chance at all to do so. So you've got to be very careful. If you're older and retiring, you've got to be very careful with your assets. Get yourself a will. I would suggest to get yourself a trust for the real estate, the property, and its additions, they're called, the house and sheds, garages, and any assets you may have, savings or retirement funds or checking account, those can go into a trust as well. The trust takes, I'm not sure about this end of it, but I've been told in piecemeal that the trust takes 5 years to, I'm going to use the word mature, but that's the wrong word. If you're thinking about this at all, don't even listen to me. Just know that I am behind you with this, and you should follow through on the research. I'm the last person that should be explaining it to people, but I just went through it myself. And before I went through it myself, I had to talk to a lot of people about how it went. Okay, what does this mean? If I do this, does that hurt me in any way? The trust thing, a coworker of mine has now re-upped his trust 3 times, I believe. He's 75 years old now. And he said something about it takes 5 years for the trust to actually go into place. And that's about, a trust is about if your parent needs to go into assisted living, if you don't have a trust on the house and the property, they will immediately put a lien on your deed so that they will get paid when your insurance runs out. And that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, almost up front. It's not cashed out right then, but it's like a mechanic's lien on your deed. They're going to get paid first in the eyes of the court, in the eyes of those who dropped the gavel on the situation. The gavel. I should have the gavel out. This should be part of the show. Order in the court. Judge Jeremiah Lee Mcgillicuddy presiding. Yeah, yeah, so be careful. Be careful with family. Do not, I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this because you don't know me. Do not trust your family members to do the right thing by you. Again, do not trust your family members to do the right thing by or for you. You have to make sure that you are taken care of if you think that's how it should go. Not if you think that you are owed something. That's a completely different story. I'm just saying, if you think that whomever is getting on in age and would be usually writing up a will or trusts would have you in it naturally, make sure that that's in writing and make sure that that has been taken care of and that you see the paperwork with your name on them, with hopefully a witness's name, because I needed to bring a witness for the signing of my mother's um, will and other things. And we also needed forms of government identification because the lawyer actually is the notary public and he notarized the paperwork right there and then with his stamp. So you want all of that stuff to be in place because if and most likely when the person passes on and the assets go into the court system, if you don't have that paperwork that clearly defines you as one of the beneficiaries, you're not going to get a thing. Hell, you might even get bills from the descendants past. Creditors will come after you. I've heard of it before. I don't know how in the world that's legal, but the debt should die with the debtor, I think. But I don't own credit card companies. I just use the cards and rack up big bills with them. So yeah, unfortunately, don't naively trust family members to be speaking on your behalf. Most likely, if you're watching me in this channel right now, you're an adult. So you've done mature things and made big decisions in your life. Well, this is another one of those. You want to talk to the people that you think are going to have you in their will, possibly, or might need your help as they get on in age, because they will automatically think about putting you in their will. That's not a bad thing. An elderly person needs help from someone or from a group of people would be even better. So they are absolutely grateful for any help that you can give them. You know, they're not going to pay you out of pocket because you're family, but at the end of it all, they will probably leave you a nice little chunk of change or the Mercedes that's in the garage, something of that sort. So, but it has to be in writing. It can't be a handshake deal. It can't be a word of mouth deal. It can't be a cocktail napkin deal. None of that shit flies. Although that is a contract, there's a couple of things that legalize it, but we're not going to split hairs over this. So get yourself a will. If you're smart, you probably get yourself power of attorney. And I'm going to leave it at that because, again, I'm not a lawyer. I can't give you legal advice because I just barely know it myself. But that's what I did. So hopefully that helps out. Who's out there? Where are you guys from? There's 2 people. There's 4 people. Who's out there? Talk to me. Talk to me on my live chat. I've been talking at the screen now for an hour straight by myself, which I can do. I've got plenty in my mind, but order in the court. Excuse me, I talk so much, my throat's getting dry. Who's out there? Where are you coming to me from? I had somebody from South Africa the other night. Super nice guy. I forget his name or his call name, but super nice guy. Maybe he'll pop back in. And then there was another one that I saw the name of. I wrote it down. Oh yeah, Chuckaroo. Where's my Chuckaroo? Where are you tonight, buddy? You there? Are you one of the three? Are you hiding? I don't know why there's only three people. I had a whole 20 or 30 last night. I love all three of you. I wish you were chatting right now. Just tell me where are you viewing me from? Am I bothering you by just talking so much? Am I entertaining you? Are you making fun of me yet? Because that's fine. I'm old enough. I don't care. As long as I'm putting a smile on your face with whatever I'm doing, I'll keep doing it. Or I'll just turn Fail Army back on and you can watch me watching others get hurt. Because honestly, I think that's funny as hell. Idiots of the month. And you're in the water with your drink. And you broke the shower door just by touching it. And you drove into the convenience store instead of backing up. And you fell out of the back of the truck with the swordfish that you just caught. Don't worry, I won't do that all night. I'm just giving you examples of what I'm watching. I still hear the rain. It's tapping in the gutters. It was crazy lightning out before. It was an awesome night out. It was like dusk and it was green. The sky was green, which is weird. Aquamarine. And the lightning was just blasting through the sky. And since it was aquamarine, you could see the lightning clear as a bell. And then came the thunder. Thunder, thunder, thunder. Oh, and she falls into the street. Doesn't get run over or anything. Don't worry about it. That was a 3D effect. Dude had a trash bag and he threw it over his head and the junk ripped out of it and came at the camera. Broken window. Kids busted. Dog just attacked a cute girl. Wow. That dog freaked the fuck out. Where are you guys from tonight? Where are you watching me from? I was watching two guys and a girl this morning. For so long, I was late for work. They were on vacation in Greece, and they were from Poland. She was an absolute cutie, so she was the one that kept me watching. And the two guys were trying to be calm, but there were so many trolls that they were just like, "You wanker, you." Oh, what was the other word they used? You get. So I don't know what that means. I understand the context, but I've never heard the word before. They were just doing the same thing, staring at the screen, waiting for questions, answering them as they come along, trying to ignore the trolls, but at the same time, putting them in check. I don't care enough. I think some of the trolling stuff is funny. I don't respond to it because it's kind of inappropriate, is what I'm trying to say. And you know what I've had? I think great moderators. Thank you guys, because I see that comments have been held for review and then they disappear. So I have to assume those were terrible, ugly things that were said. And I don't need that shit. And my viewers don't need that stuff. We've been here just kind of talking out life and de-stressing over a friendly conversation. That's all we've been doing. Not getting crazy. You're not going to find me talking about politics because I don't know enough about it. You're not going to find me talking about religion because it's just not my thing. You know, I can talk about the common struggles of the common man all day long. I was a cameraman for about 15 years. I lived in Hollywood, California for probably 8. So I've got some great stories about that stuff that I love yakking about. Um, Cameraman, then I was the gaffer on a very well known do it yourself home improvement show that's filmed around the Boston area. So that's all I'm going to say about that one. I'm not going to name who they are because I'm not with them any longer, but and that was their choice, not mine. But I had a good 5 years, which was a very long run for a non-union day player job. Day player meaning I was kind of hired day by day for 5 years straight. Now, on a couple of occasions, the show went dark for winter. It's most likely you shoot during the summer, building outdoors and having your heat shut off because you're taking the heat system out of the house and everything. You need the summer. But we did a house in Brooklyn, New York during the winter. And, oh, Roxbury. I think we did Roxbury during the winter as well. So that's two. I think I did 5 years. I think I did 7 projects with them because I did 2 winter projects. Made a boatload of money, made a boatload of friends, had a great time. I consider all those guys like family members now, and I hope they consider me the same way. Got a nod from the Emmy Association. I don't have the little statue, but I do have. I need to put that up somewhere. It's just a certificate that says for your wonderful work on the show, blah blah blah, from the Emmy Association in nice calligraphy. But that, you frame that, that's a nice feather in your cap if you're in television production. Everyone knows who the Emmys are. It's coincidentally that I used to work for the Emmy Association when I was in Hollywood. I worked for the awards shows in general because they were all put on by the same production company, A. Louis J. Horvitz Productions. So I worked the Emmys, the Grammys, the Latin Grammys, the Oscars, all of those things for 3 years. And that was cool. Yes, it was. A lot of red carpet time for me. They always rent a tuxedo for you. It sounds like I might need to go get. Oh, never mind. So that was TV for me. Oh my gosh, you almost got hit by a bus. I'm with you guys, but you're not chatting with me, so I'm in between fail army and talking at a screen. Reach out, say hello, please. Break the ice. There's got to be someone that wants to talk tonight. Not even jokers out there. Huh. I haven't had time to rub you the wrong way. You're not sick of me yet. You will be in a month or two, but not yet. Where is everybody? Where are you guys? What is it? It's Tuesday night. It's the 1st of July. Are people somewhere else tonight and I'm not realizing it? Is there a giant game or concert or something going on where nobody's on YouTube? You can answer that if you want. I don't know who's out there. I see 3 people and I see 3 thumbs ups. So 3 people like me rambling, which is great. And 3 people are taking their time to watch good old Jer in his spotlight. This is some seriously bright light, but it picks me up better, right? There's no like shadows under my eyes. There we go. That's what I used to do on that do it yourself home improvement show. I was the gaffer or the guy in charge of all the lighting. So I made all of the talent and our guests look the best that they possibly could on camera. I worked intricately with the cameraman and the director to make sure there were no hot spots on any hard surfaces and color balance every room that we were in the ways of your blue tones or your orange tones. That's what light is broken up as CTB, color temperature blue, or CTO, color temperature orange. Your oranges are known or said to be warmer tones, and your blues are your cold or your sharp or your daylight. Some people call the light bulbs they buy daylight. Your 6500 Kelvin, your warmer or your orange bulbs would be down in the 2300s to 3100s Kelvin, Kelvin scale. I literally used to show up at our location houses before everybody else. One of the producers would be there. The producer would knock on the door, get us in the house, and I would immediately start changing out the homeowners' light bulbs. And they always looked at me like I was doing something strange and, stealing their light bulbs. But the producer would explain, no, he's just balancing out the lights so that when I bring my lights in, the big boy stuff, you won't see random rainbows of orange and blue over here and then this over here. It'll be consistent. We used to knock down the sunlight coming in the windows from outside. That's what gaffing is. You gaff or you flag the light and you make it do what you want it to do. You can give it texture. You can make it more flat. You can obviously brighten it or dim it. Remember, light is what you're seeing bouncing off of an object. Your eyes don't go out and touch the object and feel it to see what it is. Your eyes are receivers. They catch the light that has bounced off the surface of the thing, and that tells your brain, oh, it's this size and has this type of texture and is this far away from me. Hopefully you have two eyes and you have good depth perception. But gaffing. Without light, there is no camera and there is no action. There is only darkness. Talk about dark. After my stint on the Oscars, the Emmys, the Grammys, I got a job first with Whose Line Is It Anyway? I think a lot of you are familiar with that show. I was before I got on it. Drew Carey was still hosting it. So this is way back when. This is the early 2000s. Again, I got to LA in 99, the end of 99. So I started working the shows at 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. 2004 was Whose Line Is It Anyway? I think that went to 2005. And at that point, I started harassing one of my girlfriend's good friends. He was a AC already, an assistant cameraman, and he worked on music videos and commercials, mostly. I mean, he's freelance; he could do anything, but that was the circle he was in. And I harassed him enough that he said yes one day to bringing me on set, introducing me to people, and getting me work. The one thing he asked me, or actually demanded of me, and this was a big life lesson. He said, Jerry, I will bring you along and I can get you all kinds of work. And I know that you're good for it because I already know you're a hard worker because I've seen you these past 3 years with the awards. But you have to do me this one favor. I said, what's that? He goes, you have to learn how to shut the fuck up. And he meant it. Not everybody wants to hear your gabbing all the time. Not everybody wants to know your opinion. Not everybody thinks you're cute and funny all the time. So less is more. I ramble here because people are flipping through YouTube channels because they want entertainment. They want media. What am I trying to say? They want content. They want content. So I've got stories for days. So I'll give you content. So back to LA, he told me, as long as you can fuck up on set, not try to be everybody's friend all at once, not overtalk your position, because these are union gigs. A lot of them are non-union, but we work as though we were union guys, meaning crossing all of your T's and dotting every single I. Nothing is left to chance. You have a backup for your backup for your backup. There is never an I don't know. There is never a you're making the show wait. Because if they had to wait for me, I was the loader. I was the guy that actually put the film in the magazines that you put on the camera to shoot. So no film, no shoot, which would be making hundreds of people stand around and wait. The talent, who's probably getting paid millions of dollars, would be walking back to their trailer to relax for a while. All because what? Jerry Mcgillicuddy didn't have his shit in gear? Unacceptable. No way. So you had to have a backup for your backup for your backup in every instance. I know I'm saying that as generalization, but in every scenario, you had to have a backup for your backup for your backup. Or your boys in your department had your back with either materials, knowledge, or whatever is needed. And that's why you come in as the low man, as the loader, and then there's the second AC, who's usually a gear guy, knows a lot about the cameras that we use, a lot about all of the equipment that we rented from Panavision via the director of photography, who has hired the first camera assistant, who is the guy that knows how to pull focus on the cameras, who is the guy that you trust to go up in the helicopter for 3 hours when they're shooting a Las Vegas casino commercial. You trust him to know everything about that camera and that film that's up in the helicopter, so they don't have to come back down and land to ask questions. I mean, unacceptable. So we did it and we did it right, and I love that. I used to compare working in production to being in the military. Now, I'm a civilian, a straight civilian. I was never in the military, but we all know that it's very structured. Everyone has their department, everybody has their position, and they stick to that position. They do that and that alone. If somebody asks for something more than you are comfortable doing, you would absolutely direct them to the person who is the professional in that area of expertise, because there is that person somewhere on set. That's why you get paid the big bucks. My rate used to be $450 for usually 14, maybe 16 hours, which isn't $1 million, but most shoots are going to go 18, 20, 22, 24 hours. So if you're making 450, say 450 for 10, you're making 45 an hour. Then after 12 hours, you're making overtime. Then after 16 or 14, you're making time and a half. Then after 18, you're making what's known as golden time. And why do we call it golden time? Because the rate is so high, it's golden. You don't mind working 24 hours. You're like, let's keep going. Absolutely. I'm making $100 an hour right now to do the job that I do every day. Oh, this started by talking about dark. So my job, which was every day, was to go into the dark room and load cans of film, 400 or 1,000 foot loads of film, into the magazines. Which, if trained well enough and long enough, any monkey could probably do. Except the dark room is exactly that. It's blacked out. There is no light leak in there. There is no red light like you see on TV shows because they have to show the actors. It is absolutely darkness. So you're working with your hands. You've done this at the rental house ad nauseum, so you're used to the materials that are in front of you. You're used to taking the tape off the can of film, making sure the tape is tucked away in the corner so it doesn't get caught up in the magazine when you put the film in. And when you put film into a film magazine, you have to make a loop at the bottom of it. That's what feeds into the gears of the camera so that the frames per second can go by. It's not just a tight, like the old 80s film point and shoot cameras. There has to be a loop, and it's about this big. It's about the size of a fist. I know that sounds strange, but that's how we used to measure it. So you've got your feed side of film that comes down to the gears of the mag, and then it comes out of the mag and makes about a 4-inch loop, and then it goes back into the mag and goes up to the take up side. And that's it. But you've got to do all of that basically with your eyes shut. It's actually better to shut your eyes because then you're not. It's strange. You get more comfortable when your eyes are shut in the darkness. If your eyes are open, you're always searching for light. Which, if there's any light that leaked in that you may catch if your eyes are open, it's already destroyed the film if the film is out of the can and out of the bag that's in the can. You have now flashed a roll of film, which is an ugly sight. Starts from the center of the roll of film and just goes whoop green, and all of the emulsion has been exposed. And you're a jackass. These things happen though, and since you're on a professional set, you immediately go to your immediate supervisor in department. You keep it in department and tell them, "Hey, I splashed a roll of film." Make sure I heard you. And then they're going to go to production and tell production, "Hey, my guy just flashed a roll of film, so that's junk." And then the production will decide, "Oh, okay, we're going to replace it. We'll order it right now." Meaning some delivery guy's got to bring it out to wherever the set is that day. Or they may say, "No, we actually got extras," or something like that. So, or we, shot less than we thought we needed for these certain takes, so we don't need it. But that's up to production. It's not up to the belt guys that I would be a belt guy. But I wanted to be a belt guy. Being a belt guy is you're in the action, you're in the soup. I mean, it's pretty awesome. Like I'm thinking back to a Marilyn Manson when Marilyn Manson redid "Personal Jesus" by Depeche Mode. You hear the song blasting through a soundstage for 2 days straight, all day, and there's hundreds of people around you, and there's models on fake horses, topless, with flames coming everywhere, and the whole atmosphere is so like it's a big family. It's a huge family. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. You break for lunch, you make sure all of your equipment is safe and that nobody can come by and accidentally bump it or anything like that. And you go to lunch, the hierarchy eats first, the director, the producers, talent gets their own stuff. But lunchtime, you could see a couple of hundred people sitting under temporary tents with just folding chairs and folding tables, eating some steak and some corn on the cob and some beans and just talking about how they were surfing earlier in the day and they're probably going to go back out to the beach once this wraps. Or maybe you're going to get on Melrose Place to your buddy's restaurant and have a Millionaise and some sangria. I used to love my sangria out there. So yeah, that was Marilyn Manson did that one. I worked with Basement Jacks. This isn't tooting my own horn either. This was work. And it doesn't mean I walked up to like Marilyn Manson was like, "Hey, I'm Jerry Mcgillicuddy. How are you? Great to meet you." Never would you do something idiotic like that. Never. Just keep quiet, do your job. Case in point, after the first day of that shoot, The Personal Jesus by Marilyn Manson, I think he personally walked around and fired like 20 people. That was the gossip because we went out to the bar afterwards and the phones started blowing up. Oh my God, did you hear? He cut blah blah. He cut blah blah. He cut. Because we know all of these people. We're like, holy shit, did I get fired too? And I just don't know it yet. Real question. Luckily, the camera department did okay, so we we got to stay on. But you could explain that one away to other production companies, but it's still a negative mark on your resume. You get fired? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I did a Basement Jacks thing. I did the song Lay Low with the motorcycle racing thing. I worked with Jewel. My second job of all jobs was a Madonna shoot. It was for 3 days. They took away all of our cell phones. Security did when we showed up in the morning and gave them back to us at the end of the night. Um, that was a crazy shoot. She had like amputees up on a catwalk modeling. It was called American Life. Ooh, American Life. American Life. I think it was American Life. American Dream? American Life? I don't think it ever aired. I don't think the video ever aired. But it was 3 days and it was a great paycheck. We shot like 60,000 feet of film. I remember that because it was my second shoot ever. And I learned by being thrown into the water, and if I didn't drown, came out the other end, all right, I'm working AC. And that was scary as all get out because I thought I was going to fail. I had that, Jerry, you don't know anything about cameras. You don't know anything about lenses. You don't know anything about anything. What are you doing here? But the kid that hired me had faith in me. And it took me a little while, but I realized he had faith in me because he could do, if I failed, he could do any job that I needed to do for me. So he could step in or step up to the plate if I just completely blew it. And the production office would never know the difference. We would keep that in department and I just wouldn't get hired again. That's the end of it. But I did well enough that I was invited back to many a shoot, and I worked as a camera assistant for 05, probably like 2.5, 3 years, which isn't a long time, but it was a great time. I mean, I'm in Hollywood. I was on the lawn at the Playboy Mansion. Hef came out with a couple of bunnies and hung out. These are just things that you check. These are tick marks in your on your bucket list. You know, I've been to the Playboy Mansion. I've been to Elvis's place in Graceland. I didn't see the king there, but I knew he was there for many a party, and we walked into the grotto, and I was like, "This is where it all went down, right here." So, you're very privileged to end up in very, very eclectic locations, just like the Playboy Mansion, and you meet some of the best people because talent will now trust you and be comfortable around you if they know that you're part of the crew because you're expected to act professionally at all times. So you're never going to ask for an autograph. You're never going to say something stupid. You're always going to hold your tongue and just be available. If you have to tape a microphone up to this woman's voluptuous breasts and she has to take her bra off and everything, you're going to do it with a slow heart rate and no smile on your face. These type of things. I mean, there's so much nudity around music videos that you just get used to it. I mean, two girls making out in the fountain out front for the rap party is the norm. Is the normal thing. Which is cool as hell. I mean, I'm a straight dude that's not married, so all of that was wonderful. And you meet some super hot chicks that are working with you too. The award show is funny because a lot of people come to work the award shows and just the award shows. They don't live in Hollywood. They either knew someone that knew someone and could get them a job for those 6 weeks or 2 months that the show is built up and then shot, or they somehow weaseled their way into an internship and they're working for free, which always blew my mind. But they want to be around the awards, which I get. You know, the pomp and circumstance of all of it, the red carpet being out there, is pretty awesome. When you get to stand there, they rent us all tuxedos, so you look sharp when you're out there anyway. You have to, in case you're needed on the red carpet. You're not rolling up in your cargo pants and your hoodie, looking all ghetto. Um, but it's pretty cool. I got to meet all of the crew because I worked again in the offices, and I had to get all of the details for all of the crew because I had to help get them tickets because these guys were located all over America and they had to be flown in with their equipment, which is giant stuff in giant crates. So you needed people's deeds and social security numbers, get them flights and this, that, and the other thing. And then I'd end up picking them up in a pass van at LAX. And so a few of them, befriended me and invited me up to their perch, which was like one of them had the jib camera over the red carpet. So he's up probably 60 feet with a long arm with the camera on the end of it. Ernie was his first name. I'm not going to say his last, but super nice guy. There's a little elevator that you took up to him because he's on built up truss. Man, that stuff was shaky when you get up top. I was scared out of my mind, but he had invited me up, so I went up. And you get to see what he sees from the show, which is everything because he's got a great vantage point. Later on, I would become a cameraman, and I would think back to Ernie and all the guys I met and what they were doing and where they were, and I get to have those oh yeah moments with that's what I do too. Oh yeah, you want to be there so you can catch them doing this, but also this. Camera work is thinking ahead, is guessing where your subject is going to be next, not where they are right now, because you're shooting them right now. You need to know where they're gonna go next. There's great training around Boston because there are a lot of conferences which have what's known as, you probably heard the term, talking heads, which are people standing at podiums. You only see their heads because their body's behind the podium and they're talking at the crowd, so talking heads. But they walk back and forth across the stage. You need some movement. And what a good cameraman will do is anticipate which way they're going to turn and have the lens just a little bit in front of them. It's called leading your subject. You're kind of drawing them along. So you're not right on them like this. You're a little ahead of them, so they're walking with you. It just looks so much smoother. Just like if you're shooting somebody, you don't ever want to be dead on like that. It's boring, it's flat. You want to have some kind of side something going on. These are just things that I picked up along the way. This isn't a course or anything. Nobody can shoot these days. And that's one man's opinion. But I used to be able to, I worked at one of our concert venues here in Boston. And we used to play with the cameras. We had 3 camera positions and we would toss the talent between lenses all night long. So you'd have the guy say it's me, and you'd push into a close up, and then you'd push up into the darkness of the venue, and it would fade in to the other camera who's got him on this way, and that would be a great shot for a while, and then there'd be a dissolve, and then the other cameraman would have him. And you play hot potato. You play hot potato with what you see on the big screens. It's called IMAG shooting. Anything you see up on those big screens, because it's a little bit too far away from you where you're in the audience, is IMAG. ENG is electronic news gathering. That is exactly what it sounds like. You've got your anchorman out in the field. Hi, this is Joe Schmo showing you the storm that's behind me. Oh no! There's one cameraman, there's usually one producer that's taking care of keeping the media straightened out, keeping the content straightened out. Very simple little setup. Cameraman probably does his own audio as well. There's probably not even an audio guy there, although maybe there is. Audio guy may have a boom, may have the stick reaching over, or they may just lav everybody with the little microphones, the lavs. I'll get back into it someday. I'll make you that promise right now. I've been out of it for a couple of years. We politely call that being on hiatus. Oh, I'm on hiatus right now. Just means I stepped out of it for a little bit. I'm working a 9 to 5. It just happens to be 7 till 3:30 now. I'm a shop guy now. I am a part of a crew, a 3-man crew, which is small, and they're young, but we get it done. We get it done. But being on a real crew was great. So yeah, I was the loader. I never even made it to second. In directing, there's actually a second AD, assistant director. Then there's the second. Then there's the first AD. Then there's the director. I always wanted to get into directing, but I came pretty damn close being the cameraman that I was, shooting all that I shot, because I've been everywhere with the camera. And then being the gaffer on that show was pretty monumental for someone in my position's career. At this point, I could probably walk up to any production company. This is going to sound very cocky, but understand why I'm saying it. It's not about me, about like the Jerry. It's about the guy that did the job or the work. I could walk up with that Emmy nod and at least be seriously considered for employment. Maybe not be instantly hired on, because that would be random if there were jobs available, but at least be highly considered for future employment by the guys. Because every producer wants to have an award winning or an award nod guy on their roster. It helps the production value. It just does. And production value brings more money into the show. And more money into the show puts more money into the producer's pocket at the end of the day, which is what production's all about. Production is about shuffling money. Make no mistake about it. And that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing. The byproduct is wonderful media. But the deal is accounting. It's a shell game. Where's the money? Oh, the money's over here right now. Well, we're buying stuff for the production and we're paying people for the production. Okay. You're paying me too, right? Well, yeah, but you're putting on the show. Right. And so I get paid for it. Right. Oh, okay. So you're directing as well? Yes, I'm going to be the director. Okay. So you're getting another check for that. Yep. And I'm going to be a consultant for certain things. Oh, okay. And I've got equipment that I'm going to rent to the show, so I get a kit rental. You see where I'm going with this? And when you need my check signed, you're going to bring it to me to sign for me. Producers know what they're doing. The term is to produce, to make stuff happen. Produce stuff for me. Create stuff that I can sell. Create it the easiest and cheapest way that I can sell for the easiest and most amount of money. You're making pictures. We're making pictures that we sell. We're selling shiny colored light. And that's pretty cool. I mean, you're watching me right now. These are all just pixels. The digital world. Gotta love it. Again, I came up in film. Kids these days would be like, a loader? What's a loader? What's the load? Did you carry stuff? Oh, you mean you were like a hump? No, I loaded film in the magazine. Ah, never mind. Where did you put the SD card? Oh, yeah. Digital's great. The only reason people used to say, film is more organic. It's more subtle. It's flowing. But the digital these days, it's comparable. It's not choppy like back in the early thousands or mid thousands. It's we're there, and now that we've got AI chopping the stuff up for us, you won't be able to tell. Soon, you won't be able to tell. Gaming has come an incredible way, and some of the characters you look at, if you look too quick, you'll think it's a human being. So it's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's film and television. Nobody's commenting tonight, huh? Are the two people moderators? Are you guys moderators? I'm down to one person. Three people. Hello, three people. Where are you coming from? Is my chat off or something? No, I doubt that. Right? Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Learn more. I'm live. It's been an hour and 41 minutes. My voice is getting raw from talking at the camera. You guys have to chime in. Cut me off. I don't mind talking, actually. This video was necessary so I could kind of do a description of who I am and why you might even want to watch me. Because otherwise, I'd just be some boring guy who doesn't have anything to say. That loses its luster pretty quickly. Still raining here. I hear the heavy drips in the gutters on the side of the house. Oh, Batty just got hit by a wave. Another one fell on her ass in a park. No chat. I got 4 thumbs up. I have 4 likes. So, I'll take a like. I don't know what you like about me. I've been talking to myself. Thank you. That's awesome. I want to know who's out there. Somebody talk to me. I need people to talk to. Now I've got 4 of you. Who's out there? Where are you from? It's got to be my chat. 5 people. Hello. Hello out there. Please chime in. Just say hello. Give me a wave. Tell me where you're coming from tonight. I'd love to know. Maybe my South African guy is back. Maybe Charlotte's back from Connecticut. Maybe Jay's back from Wisconsin. I try and keep notes on my people that I talk to a bunch. Try and show a little respect, a little courtesy. You've given me your precious time, so the least I can do is Chuckaroo. Are you out there, Chuckaroo? We had some great talks the other night. Jeanette Crawford, are you there? Jay, I just brought up. Charlotte, are you back out there tonight? Or my new people? Throw me a hello. Let's start up a chat. What do you want to talk about? Anything. I steer away from politics and religion because those are hot button subjects and they get people heated. And there are plenty of other channels on YouTube that instigate people's anger. I'm not one of them. I'm as mellow as I look. I work a full-time job every day, so I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. By the time it's 8 p.m. when I start the stream, I'm pretty tired. I'm pretty mellow. I'm ready to just say, how you doing to a couple of new friends and then call it quits around 10. If you hear the clicking, it's my coins. I need something to fiddle fuck with my hands, or they just get lost. So what were those spinny things called? Fidget spinner, right? Yeah, I fidget. All that she wants Isn't it a baby? She's gonna get you. Anybody? Anybody got a hello for me? I'm not lonely. I'm just trying to instigate a conversation. Could be about nonsense. I'll come along with nonsense. What's rounder, an orange? If a stiff legged monkey kicked the seeds out of a dill pickle, how long would it take an African priest to reshingle the roof with pancakes? All right, here's a gift of wisdom for you. Remember these words, they will serve you very well in life. Always consider the source. Where is the information that you've just been given coming from in the first place? That's all it means. Always consider the source. More than half the time, you should probably ignore that new information. It's probably garbage, hearsay. But if you consider it and you find the source to be valid, well, then you've thought about it and you've made a solid decision. That will help you out tremendously in life. 2 seconds of thinking before you bite will save your life. Girl just sat right in his face in the gym. I think that one was mocked up. Sinking in the swamp. Boom. Oh, he took a bad one. How's your elbow? Here goes the door. Boom. Safe. I'm here. I'm all ears. I stopped talking. I mean, in a monologue way. I'm just watching Fail Army right now, so that's rough when you rip your flip flop. It's like getting a flat tire. Oh, motorcycle crashes are tough to watch. The guy's fine. He got up and he's walking around, but Biden is not your grandpa, young lady. Boom. Motorcycle versus car. Car's gonna win every time. Top fans. Mango Supreme. Dan's Mason. Austin Bamford. Mango Supreme. Barbara Beccanelli. 6311. The guy you're. Who's this? I can't read it all the way. Is there some reason that you guys can't chat? Am I doing something wrong? I do the same thing I do every night. Can somebody throw me a hi just so that I can see you, that you can type clearly? Anybody, just throw me a hi real quick, please. Like, is chat off? Am I being a noob? Let's check out reconnecting your live. Top fans, yeah, no. Can anybody out there send me a chat? Just a hello so I can see that you can type to me. Anybody else? Just send me a hi real quick. I'm not getting one, so I'm thinking it's somehow off. I don't have members. Like, I'm not there yet, so I don't have those blocks. It's all this crap. Green screen? No, we don't need that. Off. What's this? Highlight save to your channel. Retouch. That's adding a video. I don't want to mute. And I don't need to flip the camera. Because that's just my printer. Can anybody out there send me a quick hi? Just say hi. H-I. Just so I can see that you can type to me. This is going to be really weird. Moderator would have said something by now, right? That's so weird. I'm sorry if chat filter, top community moderation, live chats on, live chat summaries on, participate mode anyone, message delay none, blocked words community defaults. Share with your audience. Oh, that's pretty cool. Click share, create post, copy link. That'll be down the road. Like I said earlier, this is like my 4th stream, so I'm learning as we go too. I don't know why I'm not getting any chats. Are you guys just not talkative tonight? That's weird because at least trolls would be saying like ridiculous stuff. Well, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make this a 2-hour stream. So we're at 1:52 right now. So I'll give it another 8 minutes and then probably call it a night because it'll be 10 o'clock here. I don't know where you're at, but I've been up since 4:30 this morning. So once the 10 bell hits, eyes be wise to go to bed. Good night, ladies. There goes your car. Good night, ladies. Good night. Everyone, eyes wise to go to bed. Order in the court. I've got it now. I'm the judge and the jury. I'm the Jerry jury. Oh, you broke the toilet. Don't break the toilet. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. Yo, your McDonald's truck just took down an entire bus stand. I'm loving it. I don't know what's going on, guys. If there's a problem with the chat, I apologize. I don't know why there would be. I haven't set any parameters at all. I just checked where it says chat settings, basically. Chat's on. I don't even have any words blocked. So it is what it is. Maybe tonight's just a slow night. I'd love it if you could reach out, though, and just send me a quick hello or a hi or a single letter, just so I know that the chat typing is working. I wish this had monitors so you could see your audio to make sure that your audio is going through. But I'm not muted. Oh, he's got a shark in his arms. I'm like, why are we staring at this guy's side? Why is the shark out of water? Like, oh man, I fear the day that I'm so old that I confuse the gas pedal for the brake pedal and go slamming into some building somewhere. That would just be the worst. Can anybody send me anything? Can you guys send me like can you? Are you able to send me or each other chat? I feel like I'm just blanking on something here. If I am, I completely apologize, but I just went over all of the live chat is on. I'll turn it off for a second. I'll turn it back on. Live chat summary. Participant mode, anyone. Subscribers, live commentary. Specific people you anyone can participate and send a message. Yeah, anyone. Blocked words. Nope. Community defaults. Hold potentially inappropriate chat messages for review. Yeah. So weird. Start a poll. Nah, I don't want to start a poll. You guys don't want that. All right, I'm going to stay on here for 4 more minutes. I don't know. 3 more minutes. I'm at 157 right now. It'll be 2 hours and 3 minutes. I think me talking to the screen for 2 hours is good enough for anybody. See, there are those shadows I was talking about before. You don't want weird shadows in your head. Typhoon, run. Hello, 3 people out there. I'm so glad you're joining me. I wish we could talk. I don't know why. Other nights, people are chatting it up like crazy. Not tonight. Nothing, huh? Well, I welcome your chat. I'm certainly not. I do want it. I would love somebody to be sparking up a conversation right now. I'll stay for another hour. But there's been 0 in 2 hours. That's the strangest thing. It's got to be on my end. It's got to be something on my end. Even if it's people like boycotting me or something for some strange reason, that would be my fault. I don't know why that would be, though. It's because I fell asleep last night on my stream? Probably. It wasn't the big D. It was the big T. Retired. That's all it was. I don't do substances anymore. It's been years. Wow. Your boat's too big for your trailer, and your trailer's too big for your tiny little truck. Top fans. I've got top fans, but I can't do anything with them. I'm going to try and cut it off and turn it back on. Are you sure you want to?